Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to HansaMatrix Investor Conference webinar about financial results and company's activities in first 9 months of 2016. Today we are hosted by HansaMatrix CEO and biggest shareholder, Ilmārs Osmanis. Before I give the floor to Mr. Osmanis, let me shortly remind you about the agenda of the webinar. Firstly, we will have company's presentation, after which we will proceed with the questions and answers session. We have already received some questions from investors, so if you would also like to ask something to Mr. Osmanis, please use the question box on the right side of your screen. All questions will be addressed after the presentation. Ilmār, I invite you to start the presentation.
Hello everyone who is attending our webinar. Welcome to my presentation. So HansaMatrix Innovator Manufacturing Solutions High-Tech Group. I'm presenting today third quarter and 9-month results of 2016. Let's proceed. Firstly, I will start with quarter 3, Q3 results of 2016. Quarter 3 sales results were reported 4.5 million euros, slightly over 4.5 millions, and the result has to be treated as a very good success. And it's second quarter in a row with largest sales in company history so far, and this is increased by 20% in comparison with year-to-year Q3 2015, and increased by 12% in comparison to 2016 Q2. Going more in analytics, quarter 3 sales by region. Here we are seeing chart which outlines Baltic countries sales as a blue, and Nordic countries with a purple, and the rest of EU it's greenish. So we can see that if you look backwards, last 4 months Baltic country sales have grown very consistently. At the same time, we've seen large, good peak quarter 2 in Nordic countries sales, and at the third quarter, kind of both are evened out with the corresponding shares 47 and 46%, and the rest of EU comes at the 7%, which has also been growing last years. So Baltic sales is 26% up from year-to-year Q3, 34% up from previous quarter. Nordic sales is 10% up from Q3 and 9% down from so far largest Nordic sales quarter 2016 Q2. The rest of EU sales amount has grown considerably on the year-to-year basis, is up 68% and is up 117% up from previous quarter. Market segment development. Again, here we can see out of 4 market segments we're reporting, we can see that the dominating sales market dominates by 2 market segments, industrial and data network sales, with corresponding 38 and 37% share, leaving Internet of Things and others with 8 and 17%. Industrial segment been very healthy growing since last year, and it's 60% up from 2015 Q3. Data network sales is 1% down from last year Q3. And Internet of which actually the fact industrial being always like long-term more consistent and more conservative, so achieving growth in industrial sector should be kind of attended to very good sales work of company. Data networks are more dynamic, going up and down a little bit with the demand change and maybe a little bit of the product model change with our customers. Internet of Things, kind of what we can see is 51% decrease from last year Q3, which was record high due to fact that some of our customers just realized a few large one-off projects. Generally, it's still keep growing, but basically the base baseline or like regular part is consistently growing. Profitability results. 2016 Q3 EBITDA result amounted to 0.722 million euros, which is 8% down from the highest 2015 Q3 and 25% up from previous quarter, which actually been in company history second largest or best result month in EBITDA result. Net profit results achieved was 0.309 million euros, which is 28% down from 2015 Q3 and 70% up from 2016 Q2. And results represent quarter EBITDA margin 16% and net profit margin 7% result. Now we are going to review 9 months results of 2016 and 12 months rolling results. 9-month sales results reached in 2016 reached 11.94 million euros, and it's actually been largest 9-month sales result in company history, and that represents 20% increase in comparison to year-to-year basis. The same 9-month period, sales period by region results. What we can see that kind of the proportion of Baltics 43% and 52 Nordics, just year-to-year picture looks the same, a little bit higher up. So share, as I mentioned, sales split by region is 43% Baltic, 52% Nordic, meaning really Nordic region dominates in our sales, and the rest of EU is 5% at the moment. That represents increase in Baltic sales by 23% year-to-year basis, and increase in Nordic states 14% on year-to-year basis. Increase of the rest EU sales grown faster, 80% growth. However, it doesn't influence very much overall because of the small market share, but directly you can see the market share is growing. 9-month sales by market segment. Comparing 2016 9-month period with a year-to-year basis, we can see that our increased market share, substantially increased market share in industrial products, that kind of gives us a kind of better diversification of data against data networks, which was dominating a year ago on 9-month period. And now both segments represent 41 and 39% share. Internet of Things products were 6% and others products were 14% of sales. And on this period we can see that largest contributor to really growth was industrial products. Internet of Things, again, as already was mentioned in Q3 results, that decreased by, in this case, 9-month result by 47 on year-to-year basis, also caused by a few large one-off projects in 2015. 9-month profitability results. EBITDA result was achieved this year, 9 months, to 1.654 million euros, which is 14% below last year. 9-month results. Net profit result was 0.448 million euros, 55% down from last year figures, which gives us 9-month EBITDA margin 14 and net profit margin 4%. Again, comment is already in last quarter results webinar. I gave more detailed description that this year first quarter just contributed largely to this kind of weaker result. 12 months rolling sales and results. So just first, before go to results, I would like to really explain that 12 months rolling period represents period starting with the 1st of October 2015 and ending with the 30th of September 2016, which actually represents last 4 quarters, including Q3 2016. So it goes across like financial year. So rolling 12-month sales have grown to 15.35 million euros, which is increased 5% from period ending at Q2 2016. Rolling 12 months EBITDA result is 2.303 million euros, which is slight 3% decrease from period ending at Q2 2016. And rolling 12-month EBITDA margin was 15%. So we can say that already in last 4 quarters we achieved 15.35 million sales. So that ends our presentation part, which was devoted to figures, Q3 and 9 months. I'm proceeding now to other activities and few more explanations and facts of events and activities. Q3 quarter 3 investment activities represents a few events. In Q3, HansaMatrix has invested 444,000 euro in HansaMatrix, and over a period of 9 months, investment totaled to 6,007,000 euros in this company. And HansaMatrix owns 24% shares into HansaMatrix SIA, which is kind of limited company. Activities within HansaMatrix was carried out 26th of July 2016, has completed acquisition of 4.51 hectare building site at price of 1 million euros. Purchase was financed by Bank Citadele, providing 800,000 euros loan, and finance institution Altum with mezzanine loan of 400,000 euros. And on 30th of July, HansaMatrix have received building permit in the international airport and started its construction project development. Actually received in the same land plot. And just to clarify this, that the ground plot 4.51 hectare been a long-term lease from Riga Airport, and what HansaMatrix was purchasing was construction site. We not already done investments there, and as I say, it's fully debt financed at the purchase. Next activity was investment in company of 108,000 euros in Lightspace Technologies SIA, which is a spin-off company from HansaMatrix and with several finance investors. And total investments over 9-month period amounted to 1.38 euros in Lightspace Technologies. Also, company has invested 58,000 euros in several customized ODM. This aperture being described as original design manufacturing test systems, which improve customer product manufacturing process. And during 9-month period, R&D investments in ODM projects totaled in 325,000 euros. So what does ODM maybe stands for? If I explain a little bit more detail here, these are company investments in R&D projects where we create intellectual property, and this intellectual property being amortized towards customer, either through additional margin in a price or either in reduction of manufacturing costs of the product. Yeah. So we are going now, since we touched these R&D activities, we are going to review research and development activities. Here we are reporting few maybe larger activities that during Q3 company in cooperation Lightspace Technologies continued realization of research and development project supervised by a Latvian institution central of financial legal agentur, like central financing agency that supervise such projects. A project title is Real-Time 3D Volumetric Imaging Technology Development, which is part financed by European Regional Development Funds. Overall budget of project is 665,000 euros, and project extends over 2 years. During Q3, companies have started to fulfillment also of two more new product development contracts with existing and new customers. So basically there are two, then one is with existing, other with a new customer. And also during that period, HansaMatrix Innovation, which is one of the HansaMatrix companies, has increased R&D staff by 3 additional engineers in optomechanics and electronics. These are like summary of the most main activities in R&D field. So events after end of 2016 Q3. So at 30th of October 2016, Lightspace and EuroCD's reorganization process has been completed, and as a result of it, HansaMatrix has received direct ownership of 16.11% shares in Lightspace Technologies. And I think after that we are going a little bit update on existing guidance. And existing guidance has not been changed since last quarter, and we are providing guidance on revenue target for year 2018, euro 20 million. And also we are providing guidance that absolute EBITDA levels will be growing over time. However, margins can decrease if we will grow products with greater percentage of high-value components, which typically carry lower added value margins. In a medium term, a company expects anyhow this to be higher than basic EMS peers due to the incorporation of its knowledge, business, proprietary technology, and selection of customers' products. And now we have question and answer session. So please, I welcome your questions during webinar.
Ilmārs, first, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, like you said, let's proceed with the questions and answers session right now. If any of the participants have also something to ask to HansaMatrix, please type in your question in the questions section in the settings panel zone, and I'll make sure that they are answered. So Ilmārs, the first question in line. HansaMatrix has previously reported that investment in Ventspils plant in amount of 350,000 euros will facilitate production volume growth. How big the increase in numbers or percentages is planned? Ilmārs?
Yeah. So yes, we've been reporting that such investment decision been made, and investment project goes into implementation right now. This investment would allow us to set up a second assembly line for surface mount technology components. Of course, the full cost of line is much higher, but we just needed additional investment because part of equipment was already available for setup. So with a completion of this investment, our so-called surface mount technology assembling capacity would increase by 50%, so 1.5 times for what we have today. Yeah, this is one of the key processes in the plant. So of course it requires also post-processing to be matched with this capacity increase. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, probably of interest to many shareholders. Considering that the end of the year is slowly approaching, are there any indications on the possible dividend payouts?
Yeah, good question. Always. Still, yes, we are planning to pay some dividend. However, any amount of this or any indication we would not report at this moment. We will probably make that decision after having finalized year report results.
Thank you. What are the conditions for Altum loan? Maturity, cost, and if not paid at maturity, how much of shares will be issued?
Okay. I probably would need, you probably will be able to read this end of year report more detail. So generally, mezzanine loan is not being converted to the shares. You can read in Altum webpage what those mezzanine mean. In principle, that means junior loan which adds on a bank loan, which has second kind of level of the pledge on the same asset, and actually it's got the same interest rates and all the same as private banking loan issued. So it just adds up some to facilitate to finance higher risk project. So basically, the answer is that it won't be converted to the shares. And maturity and also the schedule is matched to the Citadele Bank loan at this point. What can I say? There are 2-year grace period, if I'm correct. I might not be exactly precise on this, but we will start to repay principal sums once the building process will start.
All right, and then as for more detailed information, we'll be able to read it in the annual report, as I assume, or then contact you directly. Thank you. Why loans to shareholders are growing?
Yes, I can answer that. Loans to shareholder, we are capitalizing calculated interest. So loans there are no issued any new loans. This just represents the fact that there is interest average loan or average lending interest is applied to the loan to shareholder, and calculated interest being capitalized on top of principal amount.
Thank you. What was the reason for so high, up by 117% increase in sales in other EU segments? And here we're talking about comparison of Q2 2016 and Q3 2016. Ilmārs?
Yeah, I would say, this of course, this result represents probably some new projects that we have started with customers that are located in this region, providing that the main number of our key customers are located in Nordic Baltic countries. We have several which is outside, and if any of them starts some noticeable project, that of course changes very well. Let's say the growth is very visible within this small segment. The process, if I understand correctly, how our sales is doing, will continue to grow quite faster.
Okay, thank you. Are you planning to expand your business into other geographical segments outside of Europe? Ilmārs?
This is not our principal focus. Focus is develop more regional part for R&D for manufacturing part. However, R&D activities for developing new projects go outside that, and it could result in some also really not so business activities outside. Outside primarily might mean United States.
All right, thank you. Then the next question in line. Will, and if yes, how your company operations and financial results next year will be affected by the new budget adopted by the government recently? Will changes in several taxes have a significant impact on the company's operations?
Yeah, if what I have seen, some changes in several of taxation items, but as I say, we are the largest taxed items that we pay is taxes on salaries, and if you are changing minimal or this, I think we had big noise around this micro company taxation rules, and we of course are not in that segment. So I would say impact will be minimal, if none, for us.
Okay, good to hear. Then is these R&D staffs consisting of only Latvian specialists?
There is interesting trend. We received some application also from people from other countries, which for some reason are coming to relocate to Latvia or considering this as an option. However, the core team and main part of the team right now, it's kind of Latvian origin or Latvian residents. But the important trend is that from recently hired four specialist, three has got his education outside Latvia. We have graduates actually this year started working. We have graduates even with Cambridge University. We have actually HansaMatrix innovation, our R&D, department of arm of our group. Actually, we are having 5 PhDs working for us.
Thank you. Then we have a participant asking about the reasons for the fairly low gross margins in Q3 and whether these levels are a new norm.
Yeah, there are. I'll try to comment this in a way that this year we started several new manufacturing projects, and as such you always plan for some capacity, you plan for some new process, and at the beginning of those you have to hire people like a few months before you can really use get them to good use, and you have to sometimes restructure a little bit internal like working teams and something, and those activities that you do upfront from some new projects actually are more expensive than like regular costs. So I could comment this that there are no anything like unneeded, unnecessary, or the higher costs actually are related to the fact that we are having several projects in startup phase. And despite the fact that this is not a new norm, I think we are. You can see from turnover growth of the sales growth that we are starting several new projects, and once we will be more kind of on a more regular volume business reproduction after maybe 6 to 9 month operation, you are much better structured in the cost side as well. So it takes a bit time to kind of adapt us to new situations. So this is maybe why these figures are a bit lower. But however, Q3 is actually not having substantially lower than maybe average last year or something.
Thank you. Follow-up question. Do these upfront costs indicate significant turnover growth also in the coming periods?
I can just refer to our slide, our guidance that having achieved a growth indication of 20 million year to 18 really requires our kind of some really quite hard work to get there. They're just not coming. It's not like something which comes on itself. You have to work for that. So basically, this upfront cost depends. It's always you can tune the speed of growth by reducing something or by adding. But of course, if you are considering to take on like 4 or 5 new customers next year, you need sales, at least a team which can take care of it, already ready for that. So basically, costs start like a year ahead. Of course, then there's a question when if you are getting those 4 or 5 customers, but that's something you have to be successful next year.
All right. At this point, the last question that we have received regarding holding in Lightspace Technologies. Previously, HansaMatrix had a 13.7% holding in the company. Did you receive another 16.1% in October, or did you increase your holding from 13.7 to 16.1%? Ilmārs?
Yeah, holding was increased. 13 was reported as indirect through URLCD. So actually, during the reorganization process, we first of all received direct ownership. Plus, we added a few percent share in a URLCDs just by taking over some shares that not been paid by some of the existing shareholders. So on paid shares, we council decided that we have good opportunity to slightly increase ownership, so we did it. So this represents this end of the organization process. 16% represents end of organization process. Again, you see the figure invested together. In investment part, you saw our notification that we have invested some amount, additional amount, which is invested in form of investment loan, which will be converted to the shares at some point. This investment is done jointly with several finance investors, so that after that it could be, depends on a proportion of each, it could be a little bit different percentage, but already on a larger company.
Thank you, Ilmārs. At this point, all questions are answered. A reminder to those who join us for the first time, the recording of the webinar will be available in Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel and also in company's announcements. Ilmārs, thank you for the presentation and for the answers given. And participants, thank you for joining. See you next time.
Thank you everyone for listening to me, and let's meet in 3 months' time. Thank you.